and more. With no waiting rooms, no referrals, and no copays. Dr. Radio, Sirius XM Channel 110.
To hear Dr. Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Did you know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do? Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
Still to this day, if I listen to that record, I'll feel things that I didn't feel years ago.
Hi, I'm Conan O'Brien. Hear my in-depth conversation with Nirvana as the In Utero turns 30. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, and producer Steve Albini. Hear encores throughout the week on Channel 34. Schedule at SXM Lithium or listen right now with the SiriusXM app. Just search Nirvana.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Kate Beckinsale, Mick Jagger, Jennifer Lawrence, Ben Affleck, in-depth conversations. Courtney, does it stick in your craw?
When every single cast member was nominated by me, it definitely hurt my feelings.
And surprising revelations.
Kristen Stewart, are you in love right now?
I mean, the answer is yes.
Will you propose?
Absolutely.
The Howard Stern Show on Howard 100.
To hear Howard 100 and Howard 101, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Dog Sports Radio now has an even bigger bite.
Now you're talking some sports.
Introducing the DA Show with Babchick.
You know, every morning we're just breaking down sports and some other stuff.
Yeah, the other stuff. I like the other stuff.
I'm sure you do.
And Beetle and Decker at noon.
I think more listeners will be on my side than your side.
But that doesn't make it right.
They join Adam Schott.
Let me make sure I'm clear, tough guy.
And Christopher Mad Dog Russo.
Come on, that is a garbage call.
To bring you a full day of passionate sports talk on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, and the Sirius XM app. To listen to Mad Dog Sports Radio, activate your radio. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at EquityZoneMortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, I think so. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, I think so.
This is my meal. I call this Girl Dinner. All the viral songs from TikTok's For You page. All on one Sirius XM channel.
presented by creators like me.
On TikTok Radio.
TikTok Radio.
Listen now on Channel 4 and the SiriusXM app.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton, Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe. And that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! Okay, I'm trying to do this neighborhood watch program, but some neighbors just don't appreciate it when it's 2 o'clock in the morning. That's my fault, but you can appreciate it every time you want to, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. Find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, Good Pods Podcast. I'm telling you, TuneIn Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Pod Chaser. You ever chase somebody? You can also find us on the Geosaban Podcast out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper. I'm telling you, Hubhopper is good. That's a great, sounds like a toy. Stitcher Podcast, Radio Live, WePod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Prodigy, Podcast Republic, and one that used to scare me but now doesn't is allfeeds.ai. Give that some praise. And we're about to take it over. But I love doing this part because everybody thinks they can sing. You know, if you can sing, you're going to be all right in the world. Everybody thinks they can sing. There's a switch called the Teddy Switch. It's called Turn Off the Lights, and light a candle. You see, I'm in a romantic mood, yeah. I say, turn off the lights and come to me. If that doesn't work, you simply say, turn them off. See, it worked for Teddy. But you can't have a voice like Michael Jackson and say, turn them off and light a candle. I said, turn them off. You see, it doesn't work that way. You gotta have Teddy's voice. Give Teddy's voice some praise. And you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV podcast applications all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Really do appreciate that. You know something else that works, and I love talking about it also in every show? The Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help even on this beautiful October 26, 2023. If you know any veterans going through issues, they will stand on their head to get you some help. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And you can give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1 verse 3, when God said reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. We all need light if that makes sense to you. I love having light. Shining light on things. Oh my goodness, what a funny day today. I'm telling you, life is so funny. I'm going to talk about some things that may seem controversial, but that's what life is. Isn't life controversial? Sometimes you find people that say, turn left, turn left. You say, no, turn right, turn right. Well, that's a controversy. Prince, think about it, controversy. Well, I also want to know what's not a controversy is I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We should all have more laughter in our lives. I love having more laughter in my life. And then the commercials are done. Most 1 hour shows, they do about 3 or 4 pauses and they'll have 3 or 4 commercials along. I just do mine all pre-roll. I get going and going and going and going. And that was great. I really do appreciate that. And then the stats are provided. I do the storytelling. I even do my play-by-play, which starts up tomorrow. Runners on first and third. That counts for the pitch curveball. Swung on and hit deep. Right field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love seeing the girls love the home ball and men love to hit deep. I don't know why every man thinks he needs to hit a home run every time he's at the plate. Men try to hit a home run even when they get out of bed. The first thing we try to do is get it over the wall of the toilet. It is not an easy thing to do. It's just not. That's why you go into some public restrooms, you gotta stand 5 feet away from the toilet because some guys can't pee straight. You gotta put it in the hole. What do they say in golf? Get in the hole. Some guys will go to a public restroom and pee all over the floor. Maybe they're not doing it on purpose. At least I gotta tell you something. Not that I was looking, but it's not that I was unlooking, if that makes sense to you. I went to a restroom to wash my hands in a grocery store because I like to sample the food. Nothing wrong with sampling food. But you want to go into some of the restroom stalls, and they got it where 2 or 3 guys can walk in there. And I don't know, it's kind of uncomfortable when a guy says, "Hey, how you doing?" I don't know you, bro. One dude was using a urinal, and he had his hands on his hips. Usually, you gotta hold something. If holding something makes sense to you, give that some praise. If you gotta hold something, this good boy had his hands on his hips, and he was still spraying all over the place. I said, man, that's nasty. I had to get out of that bathroom. Not that I was looking, but it's not like I was unlooking, if that makes sense to you. I didn't see nothing. What do they say, dear? I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nothing. He had his hands on his hip. He was peeing all over the place. Man, get out of those restrooms. As I digress, I even, hold something, bro. At the same time, the show's uploaded to 29 podcast applications out of New York City. I'm in Denver Hills, California. He was holding his hips. The floor was all wet. Oh, Lord have mercy. I want to tell you, I always tell you it's uploaded to 29 platforms and 4 TV platforms. Oh, Lord have mercy. He was not holding nothing. So you know he wasn't a brother. That's a brave. Oh, Lord have mercy. I love paying homage. I love paying homage to laughter. Laughter is good for the soul. You got to learn to laugh about things. I make sure stand 5 feet away from the urinal when those good old boys don't like to wash their hands and they don't like to hold themselves when they're relieving themselves. I want to thank the Associated Press because I love rising and shining every day and being worthy of God's anointing, if that makes sense to you. And I want to just say there's so many wonderful things that I appreciate. I want to say happy birthday to my brother. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, big brother. Happy birthday to you. I wish you many more. All fair and love and war. And now I want to thank the Associated Press, J.D. Horr, because you can't get much bigger than the Associated Press. They like this, right? But she called me about my thoughts on reparations. At a reparations rally, I spoke in whatever happened after that happened. I'll tell you about it now. I got a phone call about an hour later. It was ring, 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 ring. I said, hello. I didn't know what number it was. She says, hi, this is Carlton. I said, yeah, this is Carlton. But she actually said Charlton. She said, hi, this is Janie Horn with the Associated Press, and I heard you speak at the Reparations Task Force. I said, how'd you get our number? How'd you get our number? She said, we have our ways. I said, what made you call me? She said, I heard you speak. I said, okay, well, how can I help you? She said, I want to get your thoughts on reparations. I said, you know what it is. Just like President Abraham Lincoln. I said, reparations now, reparations forever. And I really do believe that. And I was thinking the NBA was going to be with me. The NBA basketball, most teams have played at least one game. I'm going to also preview a game in Denver Hills, California tomorrow with the Sacramento Kings hosting the Golden State Warriors. And I'm just, I'm going to tell you something. I know everybody's different and everybody has their own opinion. Just like some guys, they can go to the stall and they don't have to hold themselves when they urinate. And that's a shame. A grown man don't have to hold himself, maybe he has his own issues. Hold yourself, men. No wonder the floors are all dirty. At the same time, I told her I believe in reparations, just like President Abraham Lincoln. She put an article in it. It came out March 29th, 2023. Really do appreciate that. Also, she mentioned President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, as well as California Governor Gavin Newsom. Really do appreciate that because reparations should happen, and I love making sure that I do my part in mentioning reparations. But I thought the NBA would join me. Now, maybe they still will. But in Northern California, they're talking about light the beam, light the beam, light the beam. And I wanted them to talk about reparations too, because it should happen. And I know it's going to happen because it's already happening at Georgetown, and it's happening for our brethren of Holocaust survivors. So I know it's happening, and I want to give people that follow that message, light the beam, light the beam, light the beam. I'm hoping that they'll also start talking about something that's more important than lighting the beam, and that's about reparations, because it honors descendants of chattel slavery, and that, to me, you want to give that some praise. And in fact, I want to just pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. I'm having a meeting coming up with Senator Stephen Bradford soon. It's important because there's so many things that happen. Even to this day, you have black children that are not treated the same as white children by white school teachers. Oftentimes, young boys, they're called, oh, he's aberrant, or he's not paying attention, he's not following the rules. And oftentimes, they'll tell little white kids, okay, we're going to give you 7 more times to get in line, turn in your paperwork. Okay, stand in line with the other kids. Okay, come on, Johnny. Johnny, please. Come on, Johnny. Johnny, are you okay? Johnny, are you okay? I've seen it with my own eyes. And oftentimes, they'll just want to get the black kid kicked out of school. Little kid, not even 5-year-old kid. It happened to me when I was a young boy. And I want to talk to Stephen Bradford about that, too, because he's the one that created the Ebony Alert when black kids go missing. The Amber Alert helps white kids. And oftentimes, school teachers, they're 10 times more likely to expel a black child than they are a white child. And we know that's true. And now when I talk to my adult black brethren, men and women, we have so many people that act like, hey, it's okay as long as we can light the beam, light the beam, light the beam. I heard some people talk about what happened over in Maine and ask a basketball coach his thoughts on a massacre that happened with a gunman. He happened to be Caucasian, and he traveled from different cities over in Maine. Well, thoughts and prayers go out to those families who lost loved ones. And I don't have the answer on gun control because the lobbyists are so big, I don't know if they'll ever not have some type of gun control. They can just write a check, and politicians, they like the money. They like the money, but they'll say our thoughts and prayers with people. And I don't know the answer to it because people who can control it, it's up to them to decide if we've had enough carnage in this country. At the same time, I've seen too many times where they're very difficult and extra rough on black men. And we've seen people running away from whatever situation and they were being gunned down. Although he had a cell phone, we thought it was a gun. And now they're showing on camera a guy walking around with an assault rifle. I thought we had drones and cameras that can track people. I've even seen on television where they can use law enforcement to track down people based on their body temperature. And you can't find a guy that's driving around in a state shooting people where they can track a person with his body's temperature. Up here in Northern California, that young boy, Stephon Clark, that got shot like 22 times, they were tracking him through his heat, through his body heat. And he had a cell phone, they shot him 22 times. Black kid. And now they show this white man on television with an assault rifle. And they can't track his body heat to see where he is. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. But maybe someday it will. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to give him to the California Reparations Task Force because I want to finish up by saying thoughts and prayers are not enough. It's not enough! Law enforcement has the technology that can track someone's body temperature. And they followed this young boy into his grandparents' backyard. And they said they thought he had a weapon. He held up his cell phone, and he got shot 22 times. How'd they track him? How'd they track him, Big C? They tracked him with his body heat! And that same technology can't find a white man that goes from city to city shooting people with an assault rifle. Does he have body heat? I tell you, people are treated differently. And they're asking him to turn himself in now. I don't even know what happened because it's hard to watch that story. But I'm gonna get back into what I know I can control. And that's one. I want to thank the California Reparations Task Force because we need to get reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. And all I can do is do my part. And I'm gonna mention it every show. I'm not counting on anybody else. I'm not counting on some athlete. I'm not counting on some entertainer. I am counting on politicians because there are a lot of politicians that gave me the ammunition to talk about reparations. And I want to start with the Reparations Task Force. It's so important. Camila Moore, she's the chair, and she's an attorney that focuses on reparative justice. Give her some praise. She's brilliant. Dr. Amy C. Brown, vice chair. He's brilliant. Love giving him praise. The #1 senator in the United States, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. Give him praise. Going to be meeting with him soon. And also Council Member Monica Montgomery Stepping. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I want to give him some praise. Also want to give Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to give some praise to Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to give some praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California, Berkeley. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. And also I want to give some praise to Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, part of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. Give him praise, 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 because they're trying to do what should have been done a long time ago. I want to thank Long Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away. This is CNN, The Source with Caitlin Collins on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I want to thank, this is PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I want to give them some praise. Really do appreciate it. Now I still need the $6 billion. I need the $6 billion. I want to thank Double O, part of the National Chair Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, sent me Executive Order 13985. It's on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government, which is called the White House. We got to make sure that people understand that was President Biden's, one of his first executive orders when he signed into office, if that makes sense to you. Also, we heard about Senator Marco Rubio and Rick Scott, colleagues down in Florida, trying to make sure that they reintroduce, called the Holocaust Survivors' Right Bill, to make sure our Holocaust survivors and heirs get their reparations. Also, I want to thank Georgetown University. They pledged over $1 billion to 272 families with descendants of chattel slavery that helped build Georgetown. But you're only going to hear about it on the Big C Sports. All you're going to hear about in other programs is will Georgetown have a good basketball team this year? Right under their nose! And maybe they can walk over to the White House and say, President Biden, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. It takes executive order. The election just about 13 months out. And there are going to be people asking for your vote. I'm hearing no reparations, no vote. That's not even a rumor. I want to thank Double O for the National Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. It sent me an article that was issued by the United Nations. And it's mentioned that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. That's by the United Nations. I want to give that some praise. It's so important, they deserve praise. I want to thank T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I love giving them praise too. So many things that are going on in the world of sports and politics. I love doing my part to talk about things that are important. And I want to get into something. It may or may not be controversial to you, and it may or may not be. Well, let me just start this way. Tonight, NFL football, Thursday Night Football, have the Buffalo Bills. Oh my goodness, I just had an epiphany. The Buffalo Bills, they're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And It's a Thursday night game, obviously. And the Buffalo Bills are an 8.5-point favorite. The over-under is 43 for Thursday night football. So what can we expect from the 800 gambler a betting standpoint? People got to know that too. The Bills have dropped 2 of their past 3 games, including a Week 7 loss to the New England Patriots. And then the Buccaneers come in losers of 2 straight, having lost to the Lions and the Falcons. And when you think about this game, everybody has their own opinion about these 2 teams. Buffalo came in as a favorite this year to maybe challenge in the AFC, and then Tampa Bay people really didn't know what to think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But when you think about the shocking loss to the Patriots last week for Buffalo, in need of redemption facing a Buccaneers team that lost 3 of its last 4, you got to think that the betting world's kind of confident that the Buffalo Bills will find a way tonight for Josh Allen and touchdown Stephon Diggs to have a great success, perhaps, in the Buccaneers defense that allowed the 6th most passing yards in the NFL this year. The Bills should be able to shut down the Buccaneers running game. It ranks near the bottom of the league in rushing yards per game. Despite Buffalo's 3-4 record against the spread this season, maybe they'll beat the Buccaneers tonight by at least a touchdown at home. Against the AFC teams, the Bills have won 4 of their past 5 games. The Buccaneers have failed to cover the spread in 12 of their 14 games against winning teams. That's a clue. I'm going to go tonight with the Buffalo Bills have scored 39 points total in their past 2 games. The Buccaneers have only managed 19 points in that same span. So based on recent results, you got to think that Buffalo has the edge. And to me, I'm going to say Buffalo 28, Tampa Bay 17. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Give me some praise. I'm not betting because I don't put money on the game, 800 gambler, and I'm going to stick with that. And that's my story. I'm going to touch about, everybody has their own opinion about what I'm going to talk about, and it may or may not be controversial. But as a former athlete myself, I follow what Ricky Williams did when he played at the University of Texas, came out of Patrick Henry High School in San Diego County, and played with several teams in the NFL. We know New Orleans, also most notably the Miami Dolphins, and then has some Northern California opportunities for the cannabis industry. And athletes in cannabis is entering a new playing field from football, basketball, and baseball. And people say, cannabis, oh, Curry. But listen, there are things that athletes do to take away the pain. We know the NFL has the CBD issue, and I mean, people can get suspended for having what's called a banned substance. And then you look at CTE and how players were having health issues based on brain trauma. Brain trauma? Yeah, that tends to happen in football. So think about this. Around the country, there are legal minds that are looking at CBD and cannabis as a way to create industry. Also, many athletes look at it as a way to get over their pain, as opposed to being prescribed opioids. And when cannabis and opioids were widely used back over a century ago, the government stepped down. They shut down the cannabis business, made it illegal. But opioids can be prescribed, which a lot of people have now addiction. Even the late Rush Limbaugh, he said he had an addiction to opioids. There's some NFL owners that also have been arrested with opioids that are past the legal limit. So if you have a failed drug test for cannabis, you can easily get an athlete ousted from any league, like the World Anti-Doping Agency, and still bans cannabis use. And all major United States pro sports leagues still including marijuana on their list of prohibited substances. While this hard stance on cannabis is out of touch with the majority of Americans, nearly 75% of Americans believe cannabis is less harmful to consume than alcohol. Now, I've never consumed it, but I have taken some opioids that were prescribed because of pain. Now, sports leagues are still accepting millions in alcohol sponsorship. Alcohol! Yes, sports leagues in almost every stadium, you see alcohol that's advertised among their fans. You see alcohol in almost every professional sports arena or stadium or ballpark. Alcohol! They allow millions of dollars in sponsorships, but they demonize cannabis. Now, I have some contacts with military personnel. They're trying to use cannabis and CBD to treat post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, that's a medical term that doctors understand. So despite professional sports leagues' refusal to get with the times, athletes and many athletes all over the world, they're endorsing cannabis like never before because they're the ones that deal with the most pain and mental health. I'm one of the only sports shows that on every show I talk about mental health. You see it now more on other programs, but I've been saying mental health is a big issue. The Veterans Crisis Hotline, but it's for everybody. And then pro athletes not only taking ownership of their cannabis consumption, but they are active members of the booming cannabis industry. It's booming! And I even saw a program on news about a year ago when they were talking about opening up in California, where many people who were given the license, they were Caucasian. Like the Homestead Act, they were Caucasian growers that were allowed to take advantage of this I won't even say billion, but maybe trillion-dollar industry, like oil. Not everybody can have an oil well, but everyone can benefit from the use of CBDs. Based on what I've been learning, and I'm saying talk to your medical doctor first, not some guy down the street, but I do know many, many athletes, and I've seen guys once they retired, they had a hard time walking. But they were prescribed opioids. And many people became addicted to it. And now I'm listening to people from military as well as private sector and many, many athletes, former athletes, some of the biggest names that you'll ever know of that are involved in that industry because they're making a fortune. Today, many world famous athletes, they're keeping their heads in the cannabis game by starting their own cannabis companies. Does that make sense to you? And recently, Boston Red Sox legend, the great David Ortiz, called his Big Papi. Now, this is based on research. I haven't talked to him about it, but I'd like to someday. I know many athletes. And he allegedly partnered with Revolutionary Farms to found Papi Cannabis, a line which includes packaged pre-rolls with crafty names like Sweet Sluggers. After being inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, it seems that Mr. Ortiz is still riding high in more ways than one, if that makes sense to you. And athletes are embracing cannabis like never before because they're the ones that deal with the most pain. Now, I'm not saying all athletes use it for pain. They may use it because they want to feel better. I got to tell you, I have a sciatic nerve. And I've gotten rid of most of it by using massage apparatus and also, it's called like vapor. It's slipping my mind right now, but there's pain creams that you can rub on that burn like icy hot and things of that nature, and it penetrates the skin and it relaxes that sciatic nerve that sometimes is throbbing so hard it shoots down from my backside down to my side of my leg down to my foot, and sometimes it's so painful it's hard to even sleep. So I can take what's called ibuprofen, or sometimes I just have a swig of some liquor just to get through the pain. I've been sleeping on a tennis ball at times because that nerve that hurts so much in my sciatica, it's painful. Now, take that and look at athletes that have played sports. A lot of them just want to get through the pain. And so, in the article that I researched, David Ortiz, he's not the only famous athlete stepping into the cannabis playing field. Many athletes now endorse cannabis, and if you're up to date on the recent research in cannabis science, it's easy to understand why. There are lots of anecdotal reports from professional athletes that show that cannabis is a great way to recover after intense physical activity. I've heard of many, many athletes that use it over the years to get rid of pain. Now, some people say, "Oh, just take this injection." Injection of what? I'm not pro or con, but the more I'm being educated, because I never used it. never even inhaled, but I've been around people who have. But I'm telling you, as I feel this pain in my sciatic, I'm open to maybe trying a CBD to see if it takes away the pain. Because if you take too many ibuprofen, allegedly, rumor has it can be bad for your health. Like too much of anything can be bad for your health. And I'm working right now in my horizon in business. I've met many people who are into the industry on the research side, even some military veterans that are trying to get the CBDs for military. Because a lot of people are just jacked up, emotionally and physically. And many athletes, they got to find a way to limit the pain that they put themselves through. So there's a lot of research, and you can Google everything that shows that CBD products, they help with muscle recovery. I'm thinking, man, I got a sciatic nerve. And also, full-spectrum cannabis products like whole flower can potentially aid in pain relief, as well as ease the stress and anxiety that people have. Anyone have a little bit of anxiety? A lot of people do. I have anxiety at times too. And so I talked to my doctor really within the past year about the pain that I have sometimes on my feet. I walk almost about 4 or sometimes 5 miles a day, and it causes pain in my feet. But I do it for health reasons. But my doctor even talked about trying some CBD oils that would help. And he said that he even tries it. And he's a doctor. Now he also prescribed me some pain medication that would help take away the pain and inflammation. I try to use turmeric and things of that nature, some natural products from the earth. But when the scientific community, and there's a legal side and an illegal side to the use of cannabis, and again, there's an industry that got sued called the tobacco industry, because they got sued because they even put warnings on their products that say if you use this product, you may have some issues. That's the manufacturers of the stuff. Now, I don't know what's on the cannabis products. If it says if you use this product, it has been proven to cause blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But based on my doctor, he said, look into it if you're having pain. And I got a pinched nerve in my shoulder. Sometimes it's hard to lift my hand over my head unless I bend it a certain way. It's a pinched nerve. How did it get there? Lifting weights. Athletes lift weights all the time. They get pinched nerves too. And then in football, it's like a collision every night. Like tonight, Tampa Bay playing Buffalo. There are a lot of collisions that happen in sports. So through science, professional sports organizations, they may be at odds when it comes to cannabis and CBDs, and the athletes are taking a hard stance on pro-cannabis advocates and entrepreneurs that are some very well-known people. Now, you can Google the names that I'm going to pull up, because not only are they doing it to ease pain, they're doing it to make a fortune. And when you think about reparations, and sometimes people are reticent to pass reparations, well, another thing that Congress can consider is, with the growth of cannabis, you can use that to fund reparations around the United States. Instead of making it a crime and locking up black kids primarily. Iron Mike Tyson hit the cannabis industry like a knockout. Based on my research, it's called Tyson 2.0. His own branded cannabis line that includes premium quality flower, pre-rolled joints, and tasty little edibles and morsels in the shape of bitten ears. No pun intended, to Evander Holyfield. And people know about the bite, etc. That happened in 1997. But even Iron Mike Tyson believes that cannabis has helped him become a better person and uses it holistically as part of his daily wellness routine. Like a lot of people, they get up and they pop some opioids for their daily routine, or some ibuprofen for their daily routine. I'm not pro or con. I'm just saying do your research. But when I went to my doctor to get some pain medication, and I asked him about what are his thoughts on cannabis, he said, well, he uses it too. He uses chewables to fight inflammation. I'm saying talk to your doctor first. So Mike Tyson, former heavyweight champion, he founded his company to share the emotional and physical relief that cannabis bestows upon him with others, since he's seen a lot of success with it. And even myself been offered opportunities with people from military and private sector. And then you have Calvin Johnson, former NFL receiver for the Detroit Lions, and former NFL player and Hall of Famer, founded his own cannabis company called, well, I'm not going to promote it. Well, it's called Primitive. And then Johnson is an advocate for cannabis and says that he often used the plant to cope with pain and recover after games, and found that it helped his body in a holistic way. He was inspired to start his own company to help reduce the stigma surrounding the plant and start a conversation surrounding the professional athletes of cannabis. Now, I've never used marijuana, but I have been around people who have. So maybe someone said I had a contact high. But I can tell you this. You could be around someone who smokes, and I can't stand smoke. It chokes me up. I think it's part of a cause of COPD. And there are people who are smoking themselves into poor health. Why is that legal? And then when someone becomes a cancer patient, they're giving them CBDs to deal with the pain. I've talked to people who were dealing with that. I'm just saying, consult your doctor. And then Al Harrington, former NBA star, co-founded Viola, a California-based cannabis company named after his grandmother, Viola, and grows and processes and sells all types of cannabis products, including everything from flower to concentrates. Harrington now has operations in 5 states and is growing. In fact, his company generated about $20 million last year. And his main goal is to help black and brown entrepreneurs earn their fair stake in the cannabis industry. You got to give him some praise. And because President Joe Biden, he signed the crime bill to incarcerate masses of black people, he should be the one that makes it possible for this cannabis industry to also be a part of how reparations are paid out. Because most of the people who are issued a license are Caucasian men. And then you have a boxer, MMA fighter, Nate Diaz, a UFC star. He's a longtime supporter of cannabis in professional sports. It's amazing. There are representatives from the USDA that are also looking into this business. Nate and Nick Diaz, also of the UFC, started their own CBD company called Game Up, offering top-shelf products using organic sustainables and vegan-friendly ingredients. There's another player by the name of Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch. The former NFL football player, he started his own diamond-infused cannabis line called Dottie Blunts. And diamonds are a form of pure THC extracted from the cannabis plant, which is included into the blunt with traditional cannabis flower and rolled into a palm wrap. Lynch hopes to help the black and brown communities by contributing to the organizations that help release nonviolent cannabis prisoners, as well as raise funds for re-entry programs that help recently released prisoners get reacclimated. And then you have Megan Rapone, part of the USA soccer team, a soccer star and Olympian. Megan Rapone started her own CBD called Mindy. The athlete has repeatedly spoken about the positive benefits of CBD on her body and her mind, especially after intense games training sessions. Mindy provides a variety of products, including drink tablets, edibles, topicals, and other sources. And I'm not here to say what you should or should not do, but just recently being in a casino, and the smoke make you choke up. I mean, it make me choke up, burns your eye. It just, how do people smoke? But that's been legalized because of the industry and their lobbyists. You see people that just walk around really looking really sad and tired, but they puffing on something that even the label says has been known to cause problems. Why not look at the cannabis industry that has incarcerated too many people of color and do what some of these athletes are doing and use the profits to create jobs in industry? Give that some praise. Let me say reparations now, reparations forever. What if we took people who were incarcerated over non-violent offenses and taught them how to work in the industry? Supporting athletes and advocates. And I love Big C Sports because I just want to speak the truth the best I know it. But I ask everyone, Google what I say. Google it. Find out for yourself. Talk to people that know more than you do. That's what I've been doing really in the past month. It's really opened my eyes. I'm living with pain. Because that sciatic nerve, the doctor said I can give you an injection. Injection? I don't want an injection. I want to find a more natural way to get rid of the sciatica. It came from lifting weights and also swinging golf, hitting golf balls. I pulled a nerve, and for whatever reason, the pain comes up every now and then in my shoulder too. So supporting athlete advocates is what Big C Sports is trying to do. And at Bud's Goods, they support cannabis advocates, including the many professional athletes that are making their names well known in this business. In highly regulated, competitive industry. As a Massachusetts-run, born and bred cannabis company, they're excited to include David Ortiz Poppy's Cannabis as part of their offering at their dispensary locations on the East Coast. And I wanted to bring that up because Big C Sports also, I've been given so many opportunities to connect with people around the world, and it's a $1 trillion industry. And on the business side of it. And imagine, as the crime bill was signed to put people behind bars, what if cannabis jobs can be used to get them from behind bars, if that makes sense to you? Give that some praise. There's a lot of non-violent offenders that could deserve a second chance because the United States government has made this industry legalized if you have the right licensing. Give that some praise. And I know that part of my opportunities that I have, I've talked to people from Africa, people from China, people from Japan, Australia, Mexico, Canada, and the United States on Big C Sports Podcast. Give that some praise. And more behind the scenes, I'm being presented opportunities to grow. Not only from military individuals, but also private industry. I'm also doing my research. And I just think we talk about what's important to me. Reparations now, reparations forever. I see a world coming where there's an industry that's going to create more jobs, especially for people of color. That the federal government and the states in the United States, many are opening doors for cannabis industry. I'm not saying good or bad. But I see where athletes say they can function now because of the body trauma they go through playing sports. I just interviewed a gentleman from Africa just earlier this week on Monday. And there's so many opportunities. Athletes talked about the pain they still have to this day. And I know many of them, many people. So I just hope no matter what happens in this world, I hope that Black Americans don't get left out of it. Because many of the people that are in it, they're former athletes that have the money to get started. But I would love to see more opportunities for people of color. When it comes to being licensed, don't make it so difficult. And to do it the right way. I even deal with high blood pressure. And I'm pro-medication. And my doctor gives me pills. In fact, I got to pick some up today to control blood pressure. And it's added some water weight to my body. Before the blood pressure meds, I think I had about 10% body fat. When I was in college and diagnosed with high blood pressure, I had 6% body fat. And I was ripped. But I still had high blood pressure. Based on my diet, I worked out voraciously, but sometimes there's so much salt in things that we eat, you can't help but to have high blood pressure. But when someone gets ill and they go to the hospital, the first thing they do is they pump saline into your body. So it can't be that all salt is bad. I'm saying talk to your doctor. But for me, I want to get off the blood pressure pills. I'm going to do it with medical advice because I want to lose the weight that doesn't seem to want to come off. And I know I'm getting close to it because I'm talking to medical doctors about it and other people in business. But for the health aspect of it, I've known people who had their own health issues. Thank God the only one I've had has been the blood pressure issues. And some people say I have a snoring issue. Is that sleep apnea? I don't know. My great-granddaddy said, don't trust people who don't snore. But I think he tried to convince my great-grandmother that was a good thing. But I think he was right. At the same time, I'm so open, my mind is open like a sponge because I've been exposed to people on the medical side that have opened my mind to things. I was raised maybe very rigid. Don't do this, don't do that, or be safe, and that's okay. I've never been in trouble in my life, but I've known a lot of people who have been. And when I was in college, almost every white person I knew, they were using some kind of drug. Almost 9 out of 10 of them, men and women. Did any of them go to jail? No! One time I was driving a car, there was me and 3 Caucasian women, and they were all smoking dope. The only one not smoking dope was me. I was driving. When we got pulled over at a police checkpoint, they were rolling down the window trying to blow it out. I said, God, I didn't do anything wrong. I want to get them home. Don't have me go to jail. And the officer said, where you coming from? I said, I'm bringing them home from a party. He said, you been drinking? I said, nope. He said, okay, you can go. He saw there were 3 white ladies in the car with me. He didn't bother them. The antithesis of that, with my black nephews and even my brothers, we've been racially profiled over and over and over and over again. Didn't have any drugs. Driver's license registration. Where you coming from? Work. Where you heading to? Home. You been drinking? No. Driver's license registration. Stay right here for a second. Being held for 15 minutes. Registration's good. My insurance is good. I don't use dope. Held me 15 minutes. Okay, you can go. When the white girls were in the car, the conversation lasted less than 30 seconds. And they were all high. That's why I was driving them home. Why haven't I been treated the same as a black man with the black passengers? Why? Oh, there's no race in the United States. There's no race. I'm colorblind. We have a colorblind society. I know white person after white person after white person, never been arrested for drugs, use it all the time. Some got state jobs, many work in private sector. When can black Americans be treated the same way? When I talked about the people that get into the cannabis business, most of them are giving licenses if they're Caucasian. Most of my black friends and family members that were arrested, it was for marijuana use. Marijuana! The same drug my white friends use, and police say, okay, well, be careful getting home. They didn't arrest them. They didn't go to jail. They were either buying or selling. Why weren't they arrested? And that's why I want to talk about the cannabis business. It can be part of reparations. You got to give me some praise. I'm not talking about research. I'm talking about my personal experience. This business is opening doors for people, but if you can't get licensed, then it's very difficult. I would love to see that more and more people of color are given a fair opportunity. It's important because as we run up and down the highways, you're seeing more and more advertisement for that business, but more and more you find that the owners are Caucasian. Again, President Biden signed the crime bill along with Bill Clinton. It incarcerated a mass number of black families. It told white people, be careful, have a safe drive home. And they're the ones with the money to buy the stuff and sell it too. And they're the ones pejoratively getting licensed to buy and sell. And I would just hope that more and more there are opportunities for non-violent offenders to get a second opportunity in life to make an income for themselves and their families. I believe there should never be tuition for black Americans in this country because black families built this country for free. And people know that's true. I've known people, black and white. I just don't know white people who got in trouble over cannabis or smoking weed. They even made movies about it, how they think it's funny. But whatever your thoughts are on it, the CBD is opportunity for people in business, and a lot of professional athletes, they swear by that stuff that makes them heal better. It's better for the mind and their bodies. I'm open to seeing what my doctor says also. My doctor says he uses it. I'm not saying use it because I'm still ignorant to what it all means. But I use my blood pressure pills religiously because I haven't had a headache since I started using them. I was having headaches all the time. I was walking 5 miles a day with 24 pounds of weights, jogging and walking. And there were times I felt like I was going to pass out. Like my heart was about to pop through my chest. And my parents said, son, why don't you just do what the doctor says and get on the medication? And so I did it. I haven't had a headache since. I've never been sick in my life other than a cough every now and then, maybe 2 or 3 days of that. But I don't like this pain in my hip, and I don't like this pain in my shoulder. And when I talk to other athletes that I just talked about today, they're doing whatever they can to make life better for themselves. And I want to give them some praise. I'm so grateful that God has introduced me to people that I didn't even know a year ago, that have opened my mind to a huge business. Like lightning! Very powerful. That Big C Sports also is in touch with a lot of professional athletes as well as military people and private sector. And I'm opening my eyes to the tremendous amount of money that's going to be pouring through my corporation. Give that some praise because I'm learning and opening my eyes to it. And because I have access to people all over the world through Big C Sports, I want to give that some praise. I'm so appreciative of how we can lift this country, especially people of color, from the economic pressure that's been put on people of color in this country, from the Homestead Act to the GI Bill to Jim Crow to slavery. We've got to get reparations now, reparations forever, and open up the industry for black Americans. That's important. And because white Americans have already gotten their reparations through the Homestead Act, and they don't come from an ancestor that were enslaved. And they know that the Good Old Bread Network is alive and well through cronyism and nepotism. I'm going to be pro-advocate for African Americans because I am one. And give that some praise. I'm not anti-anybody, but I'm definitely pro-black, if that makes sense to you. As I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off. But don't let someone you love drink and get behind the wheel of the car. The life you save may be your own or someone you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, he said, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat, because listening to Big C Sports makes me want to dance on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. And I'm always rumbling. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And no school teacher should punish black kids for things they don't punish white kids for. It happened to me when I was a kid. That's a fact. As I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. And now we do what President Abraham Lincoln told us a long time ago for the decent people. He said, reparations now, reparations forever. Now let's say it as if your team just won the game. Because President Abraham Lincoln, he told us to do it. And Congress, you know it's true. He said reparations now, reparations forever. Now, let's stand up and say it like your team just won the game. And you know you love games. What did we say? We say what President Abraham Lincoln said. What did he say? He said reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.